Hey y'all, we just got finished heating up with a map gas torch. This 94 regular Jeep steering shaft. I had done a lot of research online trying to figure out which Jeeps the upgraded steering shafts came from to eliminate the rag joint and that stupid, almost like a CV joint setup that it has to move over to just a regular U joint setup on both ends. Because there are several different styles of Jeep steering shafts. And I also found information on the Chevrolet Astro van steering shaft upgrade, which I'm assuming has those same small U joints on them, but requires you to cut and reclock the ends. So I was fairly certain, I'd say 90% certain, that if I found the right year of Jeep Cherokee, I would be able to just have a bolt-in steering shaft upgrade. Well, we were not sure of the pictures we found. We were not sure of our information online, but we just went ahead and paid $11.52 for a steering shaft at the it's called All-in-One, which is kind of like a pick and pull that's in our area. So I'm like, okay, $11.52. If it don't work, I don't really care. So I went ahead and picked it up, brought it home, and what was really interesting, sorry about that, this shaft does not slide when you buy it from the factory. Let me see if I can show you this. When you get it out of the vehicle, this thing is setting like really long, way longer than an S10 steering shaft. It's like, I want to say it was setting like right here, whatever. This thing will not move. I mean, we beat on this thing with a sledgehammer trying to break it loose. Then we remembered online it said you got to heat this area with a torch. Well, Richard had a map gas torch on his work truck, so we brought it in and we started heating in this area. Sure enough, plastic started oozing out of this little gap where the main shaft goes into this outer sleeve. It just started oozing out, and then when it got hot enough, I just yanked it out. But if you'll look, these grooves, when you get that Jeep Cherokee steering shaft, those grooves come full of like plastic, kind of like some of the GMs or probably other makes too. But what holds your U joints in your drive shaft is like a molded like plastic that you got to heat up and melt out to change a U joint. Well, once we got this hot enough, you could just move this thing in and out, and we just went ahead and burned all the plastic completely off of those little receiver grooves. And we tried to shoot fire up into the end of this thing just to kind of make sure there wasn't nothing in there, but all it really did was catch on fire. But we just kept running this in and out of there with some WD-40 until it, moved clearly. So I now have the double U joint, because I got a U joint here, and I've got a U joint, sorry about that, over there, and you just basically bolt it in, because what we found out by comparing this shaft to the factory S10 shaft, they're clocked exactly the same. Like the spline count on this end is the same, the bolt angle head same. It's literally, if it's just a bolt in, I don't have to cut, reclock, nothing. Literally all I had to do was heat that joint in the middle with fire, with heat, melt that stupid plastic out, and it works perfect. So I just wanted to put up a video kind of talking about how easy that went when we didn't really know 100% for sure which year had the right shaft. But hopefully this video will kind of give you an idea you know, what that shaft looks like as far as the indicator I noticed the biggest difference of is where it goes on your steering column to this. That area right there is what you need to look for, because some of them, this thing right here is like really long, like this tube goes way down to here, and I don't know, it's apparently super long and doesn't work or something, I don't know. But I'm here to tell you, this thing, side by side with my factory S10 steering shaft, is identical. You know, it's gonna work perfect. So, only thing I did wrong was when we were pulling it out, we realized it did not have this bolt. This bolt was not in there, and this is just a bolt we found on the ground just to stick in there because we were trying to rig one up. But I need to get either the factory original, I think it's like a 10, or I don't know if it's a 10 thread or not, because it is metric. We did verify that. But, you know, all it does is basically clamp down, kind of like a battery terminal on this odd, specifically shaped steering shaft. So I technically could put in a grade 5 or 8 metric bolt in that hole, and it's going to do the same thing. So anyway, we were out there doing some test fitting. We managed to actually test fit the engine and the transmission as one assembly today, which was a small step forward. We found out, and I will cover that hopefully in another video, we tried to do a test fit the other night of the 5.3 with the T5 attached. It wouldn't go in. Like, there was not enough room between the inside of the front cross member and the firewall. You couldn't angle that engine appropriately, you know, appropriately enough. I can talk if I try hard enough. You couldn't get enough angle to get it in. So we just took out the cutoff wheel, cut off that inside upper angle, or that top part, I'll have to show you in a video, and gave ourselves an extra inch of clearance, and then we're going to angle or weld in an angled plate to seal off that area to keep the water and stuff out and maintain all the structural integrity, yada yada yada. But it was just amazing how simple that engine went in with a bell housing on the back of it. But once we added the actual T5 transmission, it wasn't going. It said, no, do something different. So after fighting with that for a couple hours, we just took a time out, started over today, cut out a big chunk of the top of the cross member to get us a little bit more clearance. And it went in fairly easy. I mean, we might just do a little extra grinding, smoothing and cutting on that modification to the cross member before we plate it, just so it's even easier to drop that motor in with the truck oil pan next time. So my hole was for the shifter box on the T5 was perfectly aligned left and right, but I needed it to be a little, I think we decided it was 5/8 of an inch to, no, it was either 5/8 or 3/4 of an inch closer to the firewall. I needed to extend it because once the transmission fully swung up, it moved that box forward just a hair. But other than that, I was really happy with my guesstimation. You know, like, I'm eyeballing this stupid hole that I got to cut in my floorboard for this shifter box. So we'll massage the hole to make sure that the shifter box is fully able to pass through. Just note to self on that, I'm visually looking at the position of the transmission in the vehicle. I think I'm going to have to raise the back of the transmission in order to get my drive shaft U-joints to be happy, because the way it looks like it's sitting right now, the back of the transmission is sitting down a little bit. So we will cover that in another video. So anyway, I'm starting to get ready to cough because I got that weird yearly sickness that I always end up getting, and I wanted to wrap up this video before it got too long. So Anyway, I always appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully I'm covering some information that'll help you guys out. Thank you.